Hi, my name is Alyssa Sutton.
And my name is Teresa Sutton. I am a relief supervisor at a major hospital in Scottsdale, Arizona.
And this is my Leadership and Innovation video project. I chose Teresa actually to come and do this interview because I think that the hospital is a perfect place in our community to analyze and look at leaders because the entire community relies on the hospital at some point or another to help keep things going. So Teresa, I'm going to start just by asking you some questions and you can tell me about just different leadership practices that you embody and maybe give some examples about change that you've worked to implement in the hospital, and we'll just go from there. So the first topic is about promoting and increasing urgency at your hospital. Within the organization, do you see individuals challenging and validating them for themselves the need to change?
Yes, lately, in the last couple of years, we noticed that we were not, as a hospital, going to get reimbursed for a lot of hospital-acquired infections. Therefore, the administration decided that it was time to set regulations that us nurses, as leaders and nurses at the bedside, needed to change. And some of those changes really were difficult for us, but now, as nurses, we realize that it's something that should have been there all along.
Interesting. So with this new practice with catheters, do you see individuals posing challenging questions and validating for themselves the need to change?
Yes, we do find that we do realize there is a need for change. For example, the catheters that you mentioned, certain patients come in the hospital and right away we used to insert a Foley catheter, and that's something that allows a patient to urinate straight from their bladder into a catheter bag. And truly not every patient needs one. And we found that most of the time a lot of patients were having urinary tract infections from these catheters. So that was a big initiative that administration and the nurses at the bedside took upon ourselves to try and decrease the rate of infection. Therefore, we would be helping the patient, to get out of the hospital quicker, because we are no longer getting reimbursed for a lot of hospital-acquired infections.
That's so interesting. So now, is this a policy that is an umbrella policy over a bunch of hospitals, or is it one that is just like something that your hospital has implemented?
No, that's a very good question. It is statewide, nationwide, that this is happening. So, the hospital administrators had to get, serious about that, because as a hospital, we want to stay afloat. And, if you're not getting reimbursed for certain infections, what that means is that the hospital is going to have to eat that cost. And not one hospital wants that.
And do you think that the people that you are leading and working with understand and are aware of the competition, the industry, and the external environment?
Definitely, because we have noticed that certain hospitals have cut nurses, meaning, had to fire some nurses. There were some units in certain hospitals that had to be closed, and then there's some hospitals that had to close down because of that. And, we definitely knew about this happening years ago and took a proactive approach. And so our hospital is so far staying afloat, and I'm happy about that.
That's great. So now, do you feel like you as a leader and your fellow leaders get the resources, information, and support that you need to facilitate the group that you're leading towards the change?
Yes, we do feel like we're getting the support. I know that my manager will also help us try to, understand the budget, which a lot of, bedside nurses for many years, that was not so much of a concern of ours. We did know about budget, but when it definitely is hitting you where you're not going to get paid for certain things, then we all get on board and understand, the importance of that. And we have daily meetings in the morning where we discuss how well we're doing with certain things in the morning, as far as we make setting our goals, making our goals, and at the end of the shift we'll definitely discuss that unit to unit.
That's so interesting. So you guys kind of implement like a really, really solid and thorough communication system, which is very important for leadership. Also written about and talked about in the Leadership Challenge, which I will show you in a little bit, a minute or so at the end of this interview. But you guys implement that with your daily meetings, twice daily meetings in the morning and at night, to communicate and make sure that everyone is on the same page.
Correct.
That's great. How do you guys motivate? How do you as a leader motivate the people that you are leading?
Well, first of all, I try to set an example, for myself, and then I go around each night, because I work night shift, and I will discuss with the nurse, certain points as to why a patient has certain things. Does this patient need this catheter? And we'll discuss the patient's injuries. And that allows us to refresh our memory about the patient and, discuss whether there is a need for this certain catheter. And that's how we go around and, we hit each nurse and discuss the patient, and that's how we, find out whether we need this catheter or not. And we stay on board every day, every shift, that way.
That is so great. I just want to share with you, this is the book that we had to read for class, and there are 5 practices of exemplary leadership that it seems like you embody. You model the way, you inspire a shared vision, you challenge the process, you enable others to act, and you encourage the heart. And I think those are 5 very, very, very important practices, not only in my opinion, but